my save files. I forgot some of the shit that was in this guy's map. Anyway, in this video, we're finally going to be getting into Carl's Friday. The Friday of his birthday. This is going to be something else, because, we only have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday left in his route, so... Jeez, that's surreal. I've already gone through with the entire route of his, wow. And next we're going to be doing TJ, even though I really, really want to jump straight into Flynn. But no, I'm doing it in the orders I played them. Which means Flynn's route is going to be the 4th. Let's fucking get into it, mate. Oh. Raven, right. Alright, let's do this. Hey, is this useful? I don't know what the fucking to give him. I look over at Raven as he holds up what looks like a porcelain canine doll of some kind. Maybe? Again, just set aside all the stuff you think might be interesting enough for me to take pictures of. Okay. He puts it to the side and starts digging through the tub, rather carelessly again. I sigh and turn back to the binder. I really wished Carl had agreed to come down. Again, he declined to help me even after Raven arrived. But now I guess I have my answer as to why. More stuff is missing from the tubs, and I know it can't be anyone else except Carl. The containers were turned the opposite way when I got down to the crawl space earlier this morning. On top of that, there were 2 more loose wrappers in the tub along with... I trace upon the torn edge of a missing page in the John Bouguet section. The question, of course, is why would he be doing this? There's absolutely no reason for it. And the bizarreness of the situation makes it pretty much impossible for me to confront him on it. It's his house after all, though if he didn't want me to go in through it, why would he have shown it to me in the first place? And he isn't even trying to cover his tracks. In fact, I practically caught him in the act just a few nights ago. He must know now that I'd be able to put that together pretty quick. I close the binder, deciding that this will be the last time I'll be going through this stuff. If Carl doesn't want me digging up info on his family's history, then I'm not going to pry any further. It's not Carl, though, is it, It's not Carl, though, is it, Chase? Hey, look at this. Raven holds up a wooden train. But this was probably the shit back in the day. I sigh. Probably. My phone buzzes. I take it out. My notifications telling me I have a text from Leo. Meet me at dinner for lunch. Meet me at diner for lunch. Just you. For a moment, I feel a pang of guilt. He told me how excited he was to hang out with me this week, and I'd spent almost all my time here with Carl. Well, fuck him. Fuck Leo. He can go suck a big fat one. Seriously. Though, from what I've gathered in text, Leo's been spending most of his time with TJ and Jenna since the Lynx is apparently still feeling down. At least he had that to keep him occupied. My excuse that Carl's all the info I need from a project member decision to spend most of my time with here a little less weird. What time? What do you mean by just me? Hey, Rave, I'm gonna go out and meet with some friends. Just keep Carl company. Okay, sure. Raven seems busy pushing the train across the ground while attaching more cars. And make sure you keep that together. I want to get a picture of it later. No, need to talk in private. What the fuck? Oh, Jesus. Leo, stop. You're fucking weird. I sigh and put my phone away, patting my pocket for my keys as I head up the crawl space steps. Oh, first time in the diner in this, I think. Yeah, first time in the diner in this route. Leo waves at me as I walk into the diner. I really don't want to fucking talk to this... I'm surprised to see the diner's completely empty. There's almost always someone in here. Something else is amiss too, and I don't notice until I've sat down across from the wolf. It's eerily quiet. The usual rockabilly tracks aren't playing from the jukebox. Fuck you. Hey. Hey man, what's up? The atmosphere is unreasonably awkward, and I blame most of that on the strange state of the diner. So apparently I have to go out to the counter to order. Janice isn't here. Oh, why's that? Leo shrugs. He sips on a milkshake. Dunno, sick, I guess. It's then that I remember the story Flynn told us about Janice and her incident. Though I'm not going to bring that up because I'm sure that's what Leo's thinking as well. Well, I'm not really hungry anyway. What was it you wanted to talk about? Leo swallows slowly, then looks down at the table. So you probably know this whole thing didn't go as I'd planned. Yeah, well, fuck you. I look at the collection of condensation on his glass before I speak up. Yeah, sort of. Leo frowns if he'd hoped I would have tried to deny it. Well, it's mostly my fault. I should have done a better job of resolving shit. Now I frown. Hey. I wait until he takes his eyes off the table to look at me. You know, you're not our big brother anymore. He looks back down at the table. We're adults, believe it or not. We make our own decisions now. Everything we're doing right now is our own decision, our fault, not yours. Leo's eyes get shiny, but he smiles. Yeah, you're right. Guess I just want to go back is all. Hey, we're still young. You're talking like my grandpa. Leo laughs and leans back. Mine too. Leo jerks his head as if he just remembered something. So what the hell happened between Jen and Carl? I was actually hoping you could have told me that. I have no idea. She keeps going about him not participating. I told her it was fine, but she can't seem to let it go. Yeah, well, it's really weighing on Carl, I think. Leo swigs his milkshake, forgoing the straw. He wipes away the cream from his muzzle as he brings it back down onto the table with some resolve. Well, I'm not letting it end like this. What end like this? Our group. You realize this might be the last time we're all together. That sentence immediately forms a lump in my throat. Yeah? So I'm not gonna let it end like this. Flynn pissed at TJ, Jenna pissed at Carl, you and me. He lets that hang, and when I don't say anything, he coughs. So I plan something. What? His hesitant tone is making me nervous. He looks me in the eye and squares his shoulders. We're going to the lake tomorrow. What? That's what started this. What? He lets that sink in as I turn his words over my head. I had suspected this was what he was getting at. I consider my words for a moment, not wanting to say the wrong thing. I don't know if that's... Leo puts up a paw. I've thought this over real hard, Chase. That day, what happened to Sydney, it fucked us all up. Changed us all. Not for the better either. It took something from us. Leo pauses, looking to the side as if searching for words. Flynn. Sydney was his best friend. Carl, he's been depressed ever since. I feel the need to speak up. I don't know if you can pin all that on what happened. Maybe it would turn out the same. He presses on. TJ, he saw Sydney die, saw him drowned. Can you imagine that 8 years old? And Jenna, has she ever been happy since? I shake my head. I always felt like that experience helped her in a weird way. She decided to go to school, leave Echo. Didn't seem to be listening to me. I love you, but you did change the day it happened. You're practically a different person. I don't have anything to say to that. His voice catches in his throat and I close my eyes. Leo, I was supposed to be watching all of you. I was supposed to take care of... Oh my god, dude, it's not your fucking responsibility to take care of people. Jesus Christ. Leo stops talking and I keep my eyes on the table. He grabs on the brown napkins and wipes his eyes. When he speaks again, his voice is thick and cracks... Oh shit, I can't. Cracked with emotion. His parents never said, but they trusted me with Sydney, and I think they blame me. No, Leo. He falls silent. For a while we both sit there and share the feeling of being weighed down by 11 years of baggage. A good 5 minutes goes by. Leo's staring out the window. The afternoon sun turns his normally red fur almost orange. We can't do this anymore. And it might be our last chance for some kind of closure. I take a deep breath, swirling past the lump. Okay. He looks up at me, relief all over his face. So you'll go. I smile reassuringly at him. Of course, have you told anyone else? He lowers his ears. Oh. Oh God, are you gonna tell them? I don't know. Leo. He does his signature shrug, paws out. I really don't know how else to get them to go. Then there's no way this is gonna be a disaster. Hey, we gotta try. I guess. So can you bring Carl with you? I think for a moment. Shit, Carl's an interview. What time? 10, I think. Well, we'll plan around it. Text me the actual time, okay? Anyway, I invited you out there to talk about more than shitty stuff. What have you been up to the past 3 years? And so we talked for the next 2 hours, catching up on everything. Feels good and I regret not spending more time with Leo this past week. Oh, trust me, you do not want that. As we parked in the small parking lot, Leo surprised me with a hug. I have a good feeling about this. It'll be hard, but we'll be better for it. I hug back, hoping with all my heart that he's right. Oh. Already Saturday. That was literally just 11 minutes. This video is way too short for my liking. I'm gonna do Saturday too. Friday and Saturday. Dudes, I don't know about this. I peek into the bathroom, watching as Carl stares at himself in the mirror, running his fingers through his hair. You look great. I don't know. Seriously, Raven is an enigma. Raven stands back, grinning with a trimmer in his paws, looking Carl up and down. Tell him, Chase. Carl looks at me, and I have to agree that he looks quite a bit better. You look fantastic, a lot cleaner. Thanks. I'll take a shower. Before Carl can say anything, Raven shoves the mall bag into Carl's chest before slamming the door in his face. Man, this is gonna be great. The interview was based on looks alone. He had that job locked. Yeah, probably. And so with that, we move to the living room and wait. Half an hour later, Carl shuffles in quietly. We don't even know he's there until he clears his throat. So, how does it look? He looks good, but I'm more concerned with the fact that he looks more insecure than I've ever seen him. He shifts from hoof to hoof, not making eye contact at all. His fingers pulling at the rolled-up sleeves. Oh my god, that looks fantastic. There's no way you won't get that job now. Raven sounds genuine enough, but then again, he's always excited. Carl looks over at me and I give a start, realizing how bad my silence must have seemed. You do look great, Carl. But, Raven chuckles and Carl's eyes widen. What? The beanie. Do you always wear that thing? Carl lifts a paw to it. Usually. You can't wear that. How do you even get it on? It's stretchy on my head fur looks awful. Seriously, you can't wear a beanie to an interview. Carl's getting all fidgety again, so I butt in. Fuck it, makes him comfortable. Hey, I actually think it looks kind of nice with everything else you've got on. Carl glances at me but stops fidgeting with the beanie. Raven looks at me, then back to Carl. All right. Carl sighs and shifts around again. We watch him expectantly. Dudes, this feels weird as all. It's new. You'll get used to it. I pull out my phone to look at the time. All right, we really need to head out. We should get there early. As we head to the door, Raven makes as if to follow us. I kick myself for forgetting to talk to him earlier. I turn around to face him as Carl heads out the door. Hey, Raven. He stops. What's up? So after the interview, me and Carl and our other friends, we're gonna be doing something. Raven raises his brow. Oh? Oh, it's not that we don't want you to come, though I really wouldn't mind having his upbeat attitude present what will surely be the biggest downer of the week. It's just that it's really personal. Oh, really? Yeah, seriously, you wouldn't want to come. We're gonna be talking about some heavy shit. Raven seems to perk up a little at that. Oh, well, you wouldn't want to intrude. I'll just hang out here then. Yeah, we'll be back soon, okay? Sounds good, but you have to tell me how the interview goes. I know it's going to do amazing. I will and he will. See you in a few. Okay, so real quick. So it starts with Saturday, and then we have Sunday. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then so it's actually 9 days. Although each route's only 5. Each route is a week, so it's like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Carl looks confused as I come out to the car alone. Where's Raven? I sit down and make a show of buckling my seatbelt. So I wanted to tell you this after the interview so you didn't have more to stress out over. What? I pause as I back out, pretending to be distracted so I can gather my thoughts. So, Leo wants us to meet up at the lake. The lake? The lake? Yeah. Why? Closure, he says. Carl stays quiet as we drive through Echo, and I swerve to avoid all the potholes. As I'm merging onto the highway, he finally speaks up. I think that's a good idea. Like, we've been sitting on this for how long? We should do it while we've got the chance. And now I'm in agreement. I just hope everyone else feels the same. We fall back into silence and it stays that way for the remaining 20-minute drive. I'm just gonna say it, I have no idea what happens at the lake. I mean, I've played it before, but I don't remember shit. Good grief. I don't even remember if they even go to the lake or not. Jesus. Carl gets more nervous the closer we get. I can see his knees bouncing out of the corner of my eye as he stares out the window. I reach out and put a paw on his shoulder as we pull into the parking lot at the print shop. You look awesome and you're gonna do amazing. Carl starts taking deep breaths, staring out the windshield. Just be yourself. Everyone loves a relaxed employee. I wish you'd let me have a smoke before we left. Yeah, go and interview smelling like pot. Great idea. Carl giggles nervously, but otherwise doesn't move. You want me to go in with you? Carl shakes his head quickly, buckling his seatbelt as he opens the car door. No, man, I'll be fine. Okay, cool. I'll be waiting. I grinned him, but he just shuts the door and ambles up to the print shop. Push on the doors, and when they don't move, he pushes harder, shaking the glass. I start to open my door to tell him to pull instead, but he seems to figure it out before I have to and disappears inside. Oh, Carl. Then I sit back and wait. I try to take a nap since I've been up all night with Raven and Carl gaming, but the heat beating down through the windows becomes too uncomfortable. I turn the AC back on and shuffle through the stations, but I only find twangy country and mariachi. I look at the time. 10:10 a.m. If the interview started on time, then he was probably almost done with it by now. I sort of want to go inside, but I know Carl wouldn't want me to. I settle back again and close my eyes, trying to get some relief from the failing AC. Then the door rattles and I hear haphazard hoof steps. I open my eyes, but no one's there. I do catch some movement disappearing around the side of the store, and I lean around to get a better look. I wait, but Carl, at least I think it's Carl, doesn't come back from around the corner. Looking around, I slowly open my door. Carl? Nothing. Carl? I yell, but he still doesn't come out. Feeling some dread build up in my stomach, I get out of the car and slowly walk around the side of the building. It's an alley between the print shop and what I think is a laundromat. Nothing's in the alley except for a few dumpsters and clumps of garbage. I step carefully around the puddles covered in oil slick and wonder if maybe he just really wanted to smoke. Carl? Something shifts on the other side of one of the dumpsters and I hear her sniffling. Wordlessly, I walk around the dumpster the other side. Carl is bent over his back to me, paws on his knees. His whole body is shaking and his breaths are ragged. Holy shit, Carl! I made his side instantly, rubbing his back. What happened? Are you alright? The stench of vomit hits my nose and I don't need to look closely to know what the puddle between Carl's hooves is. Carl makes sure to turn his face away from me, not saying a word. Shit. I dash back to the car and open the passenger door so I can get to the glove box. I pull out a few napkins before hurrying back to the Ram. He takes them from me wordlessly and starts wiping his face. The last time I'd seen Carl like this was just last year, when he had his panic attack at school. I didn't think he'd have that problem now after all the therapy and time away. He tried to rub his back comfortingly in a clockwise motion like my mom would do for me. He's at least not hyperventilating. He has his horns pressed up against the wall, taking deep breaths as he wipes his face again. Why do I suck at everything? He says it quietly between gasps, but I can make it out. No, Carl, you're fine. Let's just get you home. I start to pull on his arm, but he yanks it from me violently. Don't touch me! I'm stunned into silence. I just stare at him, mouth open. He glances at me and his eyes are red, and for once it's not because of weed. Carl starts off toward the car on his own, spitting off to the side as he does. Carl, what happened? He whirls on me. I fucked up, obviously. Any more fucking questions? His voice breaks apart in the last sentence and he turns away from me as his face starts to screw up. My stomach feels hollow as I watch Carl get into my car. I've never, ever seen him like this. He immediately hunches forward, head in his paws. I slowly walk up to the driver's side door, feeling like crying myself. I sit for a while waiting to see if Carl's going to say anything. He does. I'm sorry. He blurts it out through his fingers. I look over at him, scared to say anything in case I say the wrong thing. It was a disaster, man. He takes in a deep, shuddering breath. You could tell I wasn't into it right away. I was awkward as fuck. He leans back and tugs at his shirt. Shit, this isn't me, and they knew it. And I got nervous. I've been nervous ever since I got my clothes, since I got this stupid trim. At that moment, it feels as if I've been punched in the stomach. I'm just now remembering the conversation we had on Wednesday. I closed my eyes for a moment, not wanting to believe it would become exactly what he said I wasn't, but he liked me for not being. We sit in silence for a long, long time until Carl finally looks at me and smiles. God damn it. We both knew this was gonna happen, didn't we? I don't know, man. And fuck me very much for taking it out on you. It is sort of my fault. No, I'm the one that screwed up the interview. Carl settles back in his seat. Now with that fuck up out of the way, on to the next one. I force a smile. You sure you still want to go? Hell no, but I don't think we have much of a choice. I sigh, looking out the hazy horizon in the direction of where I know Echo is. Can't wait. So with that, I turn on the ignition and pull out of the parking lot, leaving the print shop in its alley far, far behind us. Leo, TJ, Flynn, and Jenna are all gathered around a picnic table. It's set out neatly on concrete in front of the rocky shore of the lake. None of this exists when we were kids. In fact, it didn't exist for me when I left. Echo was trying really hard to stay alive. I don't need to get out of the car to gauge the mood my friends are in. Their shoulders slumped, faces turned away from each other. As I park, Leo's ears perk up and he turns to wave at us. I take a deep breath and turn to Carl. You ready? No. Nevertheless, he opens the door and steps out, and I do the same. The sun beats down on us being this close to the lake, but being this close to the lake cools things down a bit. As we approach, I see Leo with his butt up against the edge of the table. TJ sits next to him. Jenna sits next to TJ while Flynn sits across from Jenna. When Flynn turns around, he immediately zeroes in on Carl. What the hell happened to you? Drugs, sex, and rock and roll. Out of order, bud. No, I just put an appropriate descending order. Flynn rolls his eyes and looks at me. Hey, fuck boy, maybe you can talk some fucking sense to this idiot. Leo's ears are flat, but doesn't look at Flynn. Glad you guys can make it. Sure. Carl sits down next to Flynn and I sit on Carl's other side across from TJ. The silence of house is possibly the most awkward one of the week. Flynn snickers. Z, this is stupid. How about we let it happen naturally, Flynn, instead of using every moment to take shots at people? Shut the fuck up, Jenna. I'm so tired of your bullshit. Jenna's tone is icy. She hasn't even acknowledged me or Carl. TJ, meanwhile, keeps his head down, poking a sharp claw into the soft wood of the table. Flynn shrugs and starts to do his trademark I don't give a fuck lean back pose. It gives a start when he realizes there isn't any backing on the bench. Well, we've been sitting here for the past 20 minutes and nothing's happened. Maybe you want to start us off. Flynn sighs. Well, we could talk about how I never agreed to this shit. How Leo's a complete fucking idiot for forcing this to happen, and that I wonder what he thought this would accomplish anyway. That's a start, I guess. Flynn sets his jaw. Of course, talk that would actually get us somewhere wouldn't be for me, and he's not talking. The temperature seems to lower in the impossibly hot air, and I don't look at TJ to see how he reacts. After a brief silence, Leo speaks up. How about we start with you, Flynn? Flynn looks at Leo, brow raised. How do you feel about what happened? I see Flynn clench his jaw. What? His tone sends shivers down my spine. I feel Carl tense up next to me. I look out across the lake, shimmering reflections blinding me. You never talked about it. Maybe it'll help. Sweat pours down the back of my neck, builds up under my arms. Even with the wind coming off the lake, it's way too hot. If I tell you how I fucking feel, how the fuck do you think I feel? Flynn screams at him. TJ jumps in front of me. You just gonna keep it buried your whole life, Garbo? Think about the time I used to come down to this spot every day and skip rock with Jen and TJ. So this is how you plan to get us over. So this is how you plan to fucking get us over this, by fucking making fun of me. I'm not making fun of you, I'm trying to help you. Taunting someone who's felt like shit for a decade is a pretty weird way of helping. Please, guys. Don't you even fucking talk right now. Don't you dare talk to him like that. We all went through this. Calm down, Flynn. The table shakes as Flynn slams his fist down the woods, snarling and standing up. Tell me to calm down one more fucking... Just shut the hell up. I stand up. Everyone turns to look at me, including Flynn. I don't say anything, instead I just strip off my shirt. The hell are you doing? I don't answer him. Instead, I take out my belt and slide off my pants so that I only left my boxers. Without a word, I head to the lake. It's about 100 yards from the table. The table is the lake, and while most of the way there is sand, a good stretch of it is pointy rocks. I wade carefully over this section, remembering the numerous cuts I'd gotten as a kid. I don't look back until I'm right at the water's edge, and when I do, I see Leo following me, in the process of taking his own shirt off. The rest of them are still sitting at the table, but I don't care because this is really just for me. I step in the water and sigh how cool it is before I wade out further. Once I'm waist deep, I dive under the water and pop up several feet further away from shore. I'm neck deep at this point. When I look back, I can see Carl now, staring at the lake's edge, paws deep in his pockets. Behind him, Jen is helping TJ across the rocks. Only Flynn remains behind the table, watching us all. Leo's up to his chest at this point, and I swim in a circle around him before diving under, then popping up right in front of him. Gah, sneaky otter. He splashes water in my face, and I cough. Don't be that way. I swim around him some more and laugh at how he flounders after me. He was always a terrible swimmer. I dive under the water again and swim toward the shore, popping up about 10 feet away from Carl. Having fun? He's smiling, looking a lot more relaxed than he has all day. Probably because we just avoided a situation that could have gotten really ugly. To my left, Jen and TJ are sitting in a boulder in the shallows. TJ's slacks roll up to his knees. Him and Jenna seem to be talking, so I decide not to play the same trick on them as I did with Leo. Flynn, meanwhile, is standing up, now arms folded. For the next little while, I swim around, occasionally popping up in front of Carl or Leo, sometimes splashing up my tail. There's a freeing feeling about finally swimming in this lake again, and having so much space. Flynn, after a good 20 minutes, comes out to the shore. He leans against an old familiar boulder watching us. There's no way for me to know how they're all feeling, if it's liberating like it is for me. Flynn is right in a way. Can't just talk about it, because there's really nothing to say. What happened, happened, and no amount of talking can fix it. What we can do, or I can do at least, is choose to move past it. And that's what I'm doing right now. I just hope that's what they're feeling too. Eventually I run out of the exhilarating energy that had so consumed me, and instead drift to the bottom of the shallows. I lay on my back against the sand, staring up at the murky glow of the sun. I feel my eyelids get heavy and I stretch out against the soft lake bed. It is, of course, a bad idea to fall asleep underwater. If that were to happen, though, I'd probably just try to breathe, get a nose full of water, and immediately wake up. Still, I decided it's best I avoid that if I can, and force myself to open my eyes again and swim to the surface. Except, I can't. I'm frozen. Every nerve in my body is on fire, and I struggle not to panic, to not start trying to breathe because that's all my body wants to do. The fuck is with this music? This is not matching this scene, okay? I close my eyes, will myself be calm. Sleep paralysis usually only lasts about a minute at most for me. I can hold my breath for 8 and I've only been under 4. God, I have no idea. It feels like it's been a while. My chest is already starting to burn, and that usually means it's been at least 6 minutes. And this is starting to last a long time. So my efforts, panic starts to set in, and it sets in quick. I start jerking my body around, trying to get something, anything to move. I don't understand why I'm not floating to the surface. I'm not trying to stay underwater. The seconds turn to minutes, and now my lungs are really burning. Something has to be holding me down, maybe some kind of vegetation. Oh, fuck, no. No. I hate this, I hate this, I hate this so fucking much. The water begins to glow red as the blood is spread across the surface above me. I tug and pull, praying that it's all a dream, that I'm back in Carl's room, and that any moment I'll wake up. You thought it would be this easy. That's a good one. I try to turn my head toward the voice which is right in my ear even though I'm underwater. Things go sound again. At this point, I start to contemplate that I might actually die. I can't get my body to move, and my friends know where I'm at, and now I'm almost out of air. Bubbles float past my lips as my lungs finally get out and blackness starts to crowd in my vision. Please, please no. Please fucking no. Don't. Fucking don't. Please God. Don't fucking do this. Please, don't fucking do this. Don't fucking do this. Please God. Oh, thank Christ. Holy shit, I was expecting something bad. He's waking up. My eyes open slowly, painfully, and I'm face to face with a ram, a muzzle wet with tears. Oh my God, he is. Give him room. I feel some rough paws supporting my back, turning me on my side. Can you breathe, Chase? Leah's voice is agonized to my ear. Yeah, no, I'm fine. I sit up quickly and a wave of dizziness threatens to topple me over again. I feel movement behind me out of my field of vision. No, 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 no! I can't believe this, I can't fucking believe this! Flynn's voice is torn and ragged, I barely recognize it. Calm down, Flynn. No, we're forced to come here and then this shit happens? Guys, I need to go. TJ, Flynn, get over here. I feel Leo's support leave me. Carl is still crouched down in front of me, though. Oh my God, dude, what happened? Carl's gasping like he's the one that was just underwater. I don't know. Carl rubs my back as I rest my head in my paws. Vaguely, I can hear more yelling behind me, and Carl looks up too. No, no, don't! Leo, help! Despite my aching head, I turn around and see Flynn chasing TJ, grab him and throw him down onto the rocks. Flynn doesn't get any further though because Leo tackles him with such force they fly a good 5 feet before smashing down the rocks and sand. Leo wraps an arm around Flynn's neck and yanks up hard. Jesus! Carl stands up and starts gasping again. I try to, and I fall back down to my ass. Carl reaches down to help me up. Shit, you're not okay. Carl steadies me, but I'm distracted trying to see what's happening. Leo's leaning down with his muzzle right up against Flynn's head, yelling at him. Meanwhile, Jen is crouched over TJ. Carl starts to breathe heavily again, his wheezing picking up speed. I look over at him, his eyes are glazed, and he's watching everything from far. Carl, what's wrong? I don't want to have another panic attack. I know I should probably stay and try to help, but I feel so fucked up right now. Besides, I don't think it'll help if Carl's a breakdown. Grab his arm. Let's get out of here, Carl. He looks at the scene a while longer, then turns away. Without another word, we make our way back to the car. I get in, barely noticing that I'm drenching the seats. Looking through the windshield, I see that my friends are still in the same position that we left them. Except Jenna. She watches us as we pull out and keeps watching us until we're out of sight. Carl stays in his glazed shade as we make the short drive back to his house. I can't give much of my attention, though. I'm more preoccupied with the fact that something terrible just happened. Not only to me, but the entire group. Maybe this is a dream? Everything feels so surreal right now. It's like I'm watching all this happen from 100 miles away. I don't know. I look over at Carl, but his expression is still glassy. He looks exactly how I'm feeling. What's wrong, Carl? I don't know. You don't? I'm cut off as a large coyote suddenly runs out into the street, but she's a good distance down the road, so there's no danger of me hitting her. I watch as she tears out into the sagebrush, zigzagging about, arms flinging out in all directions. Carl and I both watch her as we pass, silent. Something's happening in this town. To all of us. Once we get in the house, Carl heads straight for the stairs. Carl! You guys back? How'd it go? Raven's voice calls from upstairs. Ray, something's wrong. Huh? What's wrong? I don't answer as I walk to the stairs. Carl just disappeared down. Once I get there, he's already gone. I'm my way around the stairs, and it's at that point that my headache starts to make a comeback. Carl? He's not in the basement either, but I can see the yellow light glowing from the crawl space. I don't know what it is, but something feels incredibly wrong right now. Buzzing fills my head, and the ground feeling unsteady as if I'm walking on sand. Once I find Carl, we're both going to the hospital. I stumble down the crawl space, and again, Carl's not there. I'm greeted to the familiar row of tubs, but a stack of them have been pulled away from the wall. Carl, what? I fall silent because ahead of me is a hole, about 3 feet high and 2 feet wide. What the hell? Carl? Plaster covers the top around it, as if the wall had been bashed violently to create the hole. Did Carl go through it? Get on my paws and knees, I look into it, but the darkness is inky and so black I swear I can touch it. As I crawl forward, my mind gives a violent jolt and I arch my head back, teeth bared as my face spasms. And then I fall. And it feels like I fall forever. Okay, this is it. This is what I was wondering was gonna happen. This whole bullshit. Good God, here we go. Wind blows pleasantly through my fur, seeping underneath and cooling my sweating skin. The smell of the desert, sagebrush, and dirt overwhelms my senses. Everything is black around me, but there are a million stars above me. I hear the smattering of small feet running circles around my body, snuffling of noses up against my sides and neck. Mixed into the sounds of the wild are words, languages I don't understand, chanting and singing, the sounds of dancing, the Messiah, okay? But another language, I hear a word or two that I learned from Leo years ago, and then my own language. And above it all is a maniacal cackling, one that breaks and fades before choking off into a sob. Jesus fucking Christ, that sent chills down my spine. The first feeling I have is one of confusion. I feel stiff and cold, and I'm lying back on something hard. I expect to see stars above me when I open my eyes, but instead all I see is blackness. Panic starts to well up inside me. My breathing quickens, and though it's hard and painful, I manage to push myself up into a sitting position. That's when I see a gentle glow coming from an opening about 30 feet away from me. Where am I? The last thing I remember was the lake. Wait, no, Carl's house is the last thing I remember. We went back to his house after the lake. Did I fall asleep in his house somewhere? I feel around on the floor with my hands and can feel wood underneath me. It creaks as I shift around. Carl? My voice comes out hard and crackly. I have to lick my lips several times to keep them from sticking together. I call it again, but more softly this time because now I'm starting to wonder if someone else brought me here. When I don't hear anything, I start to crawl forward towards the light. My head throbs a little, and there's a coppery taste in my fuck. What is that? In my mouth. Throwing my tongue around, I taste the sour bites along my cheeks. I start to run through a list of things that could have happened. I was in Carl's basement, and I just sort of seized up. Did someone hit me over the head? I stop crying and start moving my hands around my body and over my head. Go through the fucking door! No sign of any injuries. Aside from the cheek bites, it's really just the inside of my head that hurts. While I do this, lucidity starts to return in waves as if a dam is broken, and all my senses are falling back into place. At the same time, the panic starts to return as I realize how much this doesn't make sense. Someone had to have brought me here, wherever here is. I start crying again, trying to keep my panic under control. I am getting fucking chills. I'm getting genuine chills. Fuck this. Fuck this shit. Oh my god. I'm almost to the glow, but it's weird because it's coming from the ground. As I get closer, I hear a soft brushing behind my head. Go through the fucking hole! I tense and look over. No! Look over my shoulder. I'm greeted by the sight of inky blackness so dark it almost feels alive, and I get the impression of a giant mouth opening up in front of my face. Go through the hole! The imagery gives me a jolt, and I lunge forward, deciding to get up on my feet so I can move fast. And then I'm falling, but not for long. My senses are full of light now, and I throw my hands forward to catch myself. But I keep falling in the split second before I realize there's a ladder. I instinctively grab at it, but my head hits the rungs first, and I flip forward before landing on my feet. It happens on weak angles, though, and my right foot gives out, and my ankle rolls. I hear a series of pops before the rest of my body hits the floor. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we're in the fucking place. Good grief. Fuck, that was genuinely fucked. You could hear it in my voice, I know you could. Good grief. Here we fucking go, mates. I don't know how long Saturday is. I really don't. Okay. I need some coffee. Good grief. Here we fucking go. I lay there for a moment, the sudden noise and violence of the fall stunning me. In my stupor, I feel a cold spiderweb of electricity pulsing from my ankle, and that's what spurs me to move. I pull myself into a sitting position to clutch at it. Fuck. The pain isn't really bad, but something is definitely wrong, and I'm not sure if I can just walk it off. That's when I notice my surroundings. A long hallway stretches out to either side of me, lit by decorative chandeliers. Looking up, I see that I've fallen down a drop-down ladder from a small square in the ceiling. What the hell? I look back down at my ankle. I wiggle it around and immediately feel another pulse of electricity that feels much more painful this time around. I grit my teeth as I spread my hands out against the wall behind me, pushing myself up slowly, making sure not to put any weight on my injured ankle. As I'm doing this, I hear a soft clapping sound come from my right. At the end of the hallway, it looks like it takes a sharp right, and it sounds like the noises are coming from that turn. My throat tightens and I press myself harder up against the wall. I see a shadow slide up the carpet at the end of the hallway and I hold my breath. The shadow stops too, and I get the feeling that whatever it is might be holding its own breath. Finally, the tension gets to me and I clear my throat nervously. Carl? Chase? Carl! I let her gasp for relief and almost sag down the wall. More clopping of footsteps and Carl appears around the corner. His eyes are wide and his nostrils flare. He stumbles up to me, his hands clasped together nervously. Holy shit, dude, it's so fucking good to see you. I press up harder against the wall, taking more weight off my foot. What the hell is going on? I don't know, I just woke up. You okay? He looks at me, then down on my foot. Are you hurt? I gesture up the ladder. I fell down that thing. Carl looks up the ladder and the dark hole it leads up to. What were you doing up there? I don't know, I just woke up in the dark and tried to crawl out. Shit. Carl bends down to look at my ankle, which is clearly starting to swell. Can you walk? Think so. Kind of. He stands back up and looks around. Chase, I don't know what's going on. I just woke up in the bedroom up the hall like 20 minutes ago. Is this not part of your house? Carl lets out a breathy, incredulous laugh. No, definitely not. I was trying to find a window, but I can't. Maybe we're in a basement or something? Last thing I remember is your crawl space. Why would they have an attic in a basement? I look back up at the dark hole in the ceiling. Maybe it's not an attic. Chase, I'm freaking out. And it shows, too. His breath is picking up, his wide nostrils flaring again. I reach out and put a hand on his shoulder, giving some reassuring squeezes. No, it's okay. Maybe we got really high or drunk or something. What's the last thing you remember? Carl starts clicking his fingers together again, looking away up the hall. The lake? Yeah, I remember we went back to your house, then down to the basement, and then... Carl frowns. I don't remember. I watch him carefully. But then I remember looking behind the plastic bins and there was this... Help! We both jump as the scream comes from right down the hall. Carl and I both look at each other wide-eyed. What the hell? Hello, is someone out there? That sounds like Raven. Carl starts to hesitantly walk up the hallway and I move to follow, and immediately regret it as I put weight on my ankle. It's completely stiff now, and pain shoots up into my shin like lightning. My gasping causes Carl to turn around in confusion, and his eyes light up when he sees my leg. Oh shit, here. He reaches out, and I wrap an arm around his neck. He's sturdy and strong, easy to lean against, and I sigh with relief as I take the weight off my injured ankle. Somebody! We hobble our way down the hall, following the sound of Raven's panicked voice. We take a left at the end of the hall and are confronted with an almost identical hallway to the last. That's when I start to smell smoke. Do you smell that? Carl puts his nose up. Something burning? Help me! I almost jump again as the sounds come from right on our left, the only door on the left side of the hallway. We both look at the door for a moment, Carl's ears perked straight up. We both jump again as the door shakes from several heavy bashes that rattle the frame. Help! The cry is mournful, like he's given up. Raven? The shaking and pounding stops. Carl! The voice instantly turns hopeful and the voice grows muffled as if Raven is pressing his muzzle right up against the door. I'm stuck, the door went open and there's a fire. What? Chase, there's something burning on the stove or something, I can't see it. Me and Carl look at each other in bewilderment. Guys, it's getting really smoky here, I can't really see anything. He gives a cough. And it's really hard to breathe. Alright, hold on a sec, man, we'll get you out. Carl shifts me to the wall so I can lean against it and tries the doorknob. The knob barely turns, clearly locked. Shit. Yeah, it's locked, it's getting really hot in here. Hold on. Carl shoves his shoulder up against the door, gives a few creaks, but otherwise stays solid. Please help. His plaintive whimpering is barely audible through the thick wood. What kind of lock is it? We could pick it? Carl studies the knob. I don't think a prop paper clip is gonna work. I lean in to look and find myself staring at an old-fashioned keyhole. The hell? Raven, can't you unlock it from that side? No, there's nothing there. Guys, I can't breathe. His voice is getting desperate again. There's no other way out? No other door in there? Raven doesn't answer, and Carl and I both wait for a good 10 seconds. Raven? Huh? We both jumped for the third time before Carl pressed his face up to the door. Raven, what happened? For a few seconds, all we hear is coughs, then Raven's voice is lower, up against the bottom of the door as if he's laying down. Something in the smoke. Help! What's in the smoke? My mind flashes back to what I heard in the attic. Something, can't see. Open the door. Fuck, alright, man, stand back. I don't know if he's talking to me or Raven, but I take a step back anyway. Carl takes a few steps back and throws his body forward, smashing up against the door. It shudders a little bit and I hear a crack or two, but otherwise there's no change. He tries it again with the same result. Carl, I don't think that's gonna work. Carl doesn't say anything as I back it up until his back touches the opposite wall. He takes a deep breath and charges forward, his head down this time. Instinctively, I close my eyes, imagining Carl snapping his neck right in front of me. The impact is much louder this time. It's accompanied by a crunch. When I open my eyes, it's not Carl's neck that's broken, but rather the wooden door. Carl's head is completely busted through the door so that his head is poking into the other side. I stare, expecting to see the tendrils of black smoke snaking out of the broken door, but there's nothing. Carl sets his hand on either side of the door, apparently taking a look around. Raven, you okay? I look up to Carl's side and put a hand on his back. Carl, what is it? Is there a fire? Carl braces himself against the door before pushing back, yanking his head out of the opening. He comes up with a bunch of wooden splinters clinging to his head fur and beard and sweatshirt. Nothing. I duck down and look through the opening as well, taking care to keep weight off my injured foot. I'm greeted at the side of a brightly lit dining room and kitchen, but it's clear. No smoke in sight. It was completely black in here a second ago. I look down at the trembling voice of Raven below me and see the husky curled up, his head poking up from his fetal position. Hey, Chase. Hi. I don't know what happened. There was smoke everywhere. It's like when you opened the door, it all got sucked out. I sniff, and now I can't even get a whiff of the smoke aside from the residual taste I still have it on the back of my throat. I hear a click next to my head and look over to see the doorknob twist. I pull my head out of the hole and Carlo pulls the door open. Are you kidding me? It was locked, right? It was definitely locked. Raven gets up, brushing shaky hands down his shirt. You okay, man? Yeah, just thought I was going to die for a second. I watch as Raven struggles to keep his ears perked. What happened? Raven takes a deep breath. I don't know, I just woke up in here and smoke started coming out of the stove or oven or something. You said you saw something. Yeah, something in the smoke. It looked like arms or something. Clara and I look at each other. But it might have just been the smoke. I look around the room, scanning for any signs of the black smoke that Raven was so adamant about having seen. I don't think it was just seeing things, because I'm pretty sure I hadn't imagined the smell. I promise I'm not lying, it's just what I saw. I think the bigger issue is that we're here at all. I mean, where the hell is here? I spread my hands out, giving an incredulous laugh. I thought maybe it was just another part of your house. Raven looks at Carl. I mean, I went downstairs after you guys and found this hole, and everything went dark. Carl looks down. Same here, I followed Carl. Both look at Carl but doesn't say anything, instead just moving past Raven into the large kitchen next to the dining room. I hobble after him, then reach out to lean against the counter. I try to gather my thoughts. Everything still feels dreamlike, surreal, and my thoughts are sluggish. Carl, do you have any idea about what happened? I mean, that hole. Did you go there too? Carl sets his hands on his hips, eyes wandering around the room. Honestly, I can't remember anything that happened after Lake Man. Raven casts a sidelong look at me before moving next to Carl. Well, maybe it will just take you a second before you can remember. I was really confused when I woke up here. I was curled up over there on that counter. Raven points to a marble countertop under a row of over a dozen pans hanging from a fixture attached to the ceiling. We stand there in silence as, I imagine, we individually absorb the situation we're in. Carl, are you sure this isn't some extension to your house? Maybe something that leads out of the crawl space? The ram laughs, but it definitely isn't genuine. Dude, I think I know this is part of my house. Unless my parents have just been building this secret kitchen underground for who knows how long. I glance at the lighting, which is definitely electric, then over at what looks like an electric stove. Well, everything sort of looked old-fashioned. There was a mixture of modernity to it as well. Where else could we be? Raven and I remember going to the crawl space and losing consciousness after we found that hole, which is where you went, Carl. Carl finally does turn to me at that point, his brow furrowed. Do you think I had something to do with this? Even though I was implying that he might know more, Carl's sudden jump to being defensive catches me by surprise. No, I just wonder if you might have any more ideas since it's your house, you know? Carl laughs again. I'm struck by the fullness of it. Usually when Carl laughed, it was crackly and half-hearted. It's happening. Now it's loud and a little abrasive. I think I just waited in the shadows and drugged you all up with acid or some shit. I don't respond, just watching Carl as he stares back at me, breathing hard. Raven coughs loudly. Hey guys, let's calm down. You know, I'm kind of hungry. Why don't we make some food? That seems to break Carl out of his stare down with me as he looks over at Raven and huffs out one more of his characteristic chuckles. Really, Raven? Yeah, that always makes me feel better. Raven starts opening cupboards and each one is empty. Carl turns back to me, frowning. Sorry, Chase, I'm just fucking freaked out too. Thing is, I don't think we're in my house anymore. He chuckles again. I mean, are we even an echo? What time is it anyway? I reach in my pocket to check my phone, and that's when I remember I have a fucking phone. I almost jump with the realization and shove a hand in my pocket to pull it out. Why didn't I think of that before? What? Phone. I pull it out excitedly and hit the button to turn the screen on. Oh, holy shit, I can see his fucking face in it. Oh, wow, that's neat. I didn't expect that. And I'm met with a black screen. My phone's dead. Are you kidding me? I hold the power button down, but nothing happens. I look up to see Raven and Carl getting similar results, Raven shaking his as if that's going to help. Carl shakes his head. Were we out that long? This is crazy. I press a hand to my face for a moment, the idea that this could still be some sort of dream coming to mind. I remember after taking an overnight job back when I was a freshman, and how that had fucked up my sleeping schedule. That in turn gave me all sorts of fucked up realistic dreams. Sleep paralysis plagued me the ends of my wits, and I remember one time I thought I'd never be able to get up. I was stuck in bed, but each time I sat up and thought it was over, I'd end up sort of waking up again, still lying down, stuck in paralysis. Reminds me of a Poe quote. All that we see is but a dream within a dream or something like that, yeah. Dreams within dreams within dreams. Wow. Yeah, they're obviously referencing Poe there. No food either. My scattered thoughts collect together long enough for me to decide on the next course of action we should take. Alright, this is stupid. We should go out and look around. We'll find the way out eventually. Yeah, we need to do that. I looked around a little but didn't find anything. I grip the counter a little more tightly as I feel a slight wave of dizziness come over me, making everything feel even less real. But the pain that's shooting up from my ankle is very real, and just a glance down at the ever-growing swelling confirms it. The suspicion that we'd somehow been drugged grows, but I don't want to upset Carl again, so I don't mention it. Okay, yeah, let's just stick together and go. We'll find the way out. Oh, I am hungry. We can eat when we get out. There's no food here anyway. I turn even though I do it as lightly as possible the more I set my foot down. It feels like 100 needles pressed into my ankle. Oh, fuck! Oh, geez, almost an hour long. This is gonna be the longest video in the series. Carl's at my side instantly, reaching out a hand to steady me. Dude, you alright? What happened? I lean all my weight in the counter at that point, just letting my foot dangle as I hold it off the ground. It's painful. He fell down a ladder and landed on his foot wrong. What? It's only now that it's really starting to hurt. I say it through gritted teeth. The pain is actually making me sweat, and I'm realizing I might have done more than just sprain it. I don't think I can walk like this. How did you fall down a ladder? He woke up in an attic here. Carl hunches down in front of me. My stupefied brain thinks of a butt sex joke, but I manage to keep it canned. Sure, I could just lean against you. That'll take too long. Besides, it looks like you can't walk at all right now. Hesitantly, I let go of the counter and let myself sort of fall forward into the ram's back. He's sturdy and barely budges as I lean all my weight onto him. Carl reaches back with both hands and hitches my legs off the ground. As he stands, and I feel all the muscles in his back flex as he does. Damn, Carl, you work out? Carl grunts. Little bit. Move my head to the side to keep from knocking my nose against his horns. It's a smart move because just then Carl nods his head in Raven's direction. Hey, I know this is kind of fucked up, but maybe grab a kitchen knife. Raven raises an eyebrow at Carl. Why? I immediately see what Carl's getting at. We have no idea where we are or who put us here. Might be safe to be ready to defend ourselves, you know? And you said you saw something in the smoke. Raven's eyes widen when he reaches out to slowly pull a knife from his silver-looking knife block. The husky frowns at the shing sound it makes. His ears down and elbows in. It's clear he's never used anything as a weapon before. But I can't blame him. Neither have I. I don't know if I should be the one to do it, though. Well, you're not strong enough to hold chase, so I've got my hands tied. He looks back at me. If anything happens, though, I'll have to drop you and help him out, okay, man? I chuckle softly. Yeah, no problem. Let's just hope that doesn't have to happen. And with the shaky husky and the lead, we set off back into the hallway. Jeez, this fucking hour. Jesus Christ. Starting to get light outside. In real life, not in the game. Immediately, it's clear that wherever we are, it isn't very large. 4 identical hallways lead us around in a perfect square. Each hallway has 3 doors on the right, 1 on the left, and a hatch in the ceiling that leads to the attic. What also becomes immediately clear is that the door on the left leads into the kitchen, but from the kitchen there's only that one door out. Each time we open the door to the kitchen, we come to realize that the angle in which we enter it is the same. The first time this happens, we're mostly just confused, wondering if maybe we backtracked somehow. Very MC Escher-esque, I guess. After the second time, though, Raven laughs. This isn't real. We're on drugs or something. But we're all seeing the same thing? Or I'm just having this dream and none of you are real, eh? The husky's voice is bordering on crazy. That paired with his grin, paired with him holding a knife, is slightly disconcerting. Carl huffs, reaching up higher on his shoulders. Alright, calm down. Just don't think about it. Let's try the other doors. I'm a little surprised how well Carl is taking all of this. I wonder if part of it has to do with any of the weed that might still be in his system. We start trying the doors on the right, and this time things are different. The first door opens up to a wall, which is an extension of the beige color of the wall surrounding it. We stare at it for a few moments, and for the first time I get a deep, unsettling terror in the pit of my stomach. I manage to keep it from rising to the surface, but all of this bizarre imagery combined with the surreal haze is making me feel sick and claustrophobic. Okay, real quick right now. Who else is getting major Backrooms vibes from this? Like, really, major. Bummer, that's definitely not the way out. On to the next door. Carl chuckles again. I feel myself clinging to his attempt at humor, just to keep myself sane. The next door opens up to what looks like a bathroom. It's definitely not a modern one, though, since it's complete with a pole chain from the high tank. Well, at least we got all the essentials, right? The next door reveals a room full of tools and chains hanging from the ceiling along with a sawhorse. The walls, though, are lined with wooden planks, and Carl gently sets me against the hallway wall before hurrying in and peering at the wood. Fuck, it's just concrete behind it. I don't bother to ask what the hell is going on again. I'm just starting to accept that where we are can't be explained. More doors are opened, 12 in all. One is completely white and empty, another contains a frilly bedroom, which is where Carl says he woke up. Further along, we come across what looks like an office, along with a room decorated with sofas and a chandelier. When we reach one of the doors in the last hall, though, something is different. The first thing I notice is the smell. Though it's faint, I can tell it's sweet in the most disgusting way possible. Oh shit, it's a body. What is that? Yeah, it's. Oh my god, that's fucking awful. That art looks shit. Holy crap. What? What? What is this shit? He looks like a fucking caricature. Yeah, sweet in the most disgusting way. That sounds like a fucking dead body, like a corpse. I'm sorry. I've smelled that before. It was a deer, though. It was a dead deer, but still. Ugh. Raven holds up a hand to his nose as we approach the second to last door in the last hall. This one is clearly damaged. The wood is splintered in the middle, bulging out slightly as if it had been punched from the other side. Okay. We all stare for a moment, the smell growing stronger. Then it hits me. Oh god, do you think I can't finish covering my muzzle with both hands? Raven, who had been right up next to the door, steps back with an arm wrap around his face, looking like he's about to throw up. I imagine the smell is a lot worse for him. Maybe we should skip this one. For now. Carl hesitates, then gently sends me down against the wall again. We need to check every door. This could be the way out, you know. He looks back at me, but I don't say anything, just grimacing at the door. He holds out a hand to Raven. Knife. After handing it over, Raven takes several more steps back, further up the hall. I press my hands to my muzzle, readying myself to shut my eyes. As Carl turns the knob, I grit my teeth. The room has no illumination, therefore we have to rely on the light from the hallway to see inside. As the light from the opening door spreads across the room, I see that it's rather simple. The walls are concrete, peppered with craters and rocks. The floor is smoother, but with webs of cracks in its surface. I can't see the ceiling, but I do see what's hanging from it. Once the door opens completely, there's enough light to fully take in exactly what it is: an abattoir. Oh, a noose. Frayed and old-looking, but unmistakably a noose. Carl stares at it, then sticks his head in further to look back and forth before stepping back to close the door. What was it? Raven calls from up the hall, his hands clasped nervously together. I noticed then that the rotting smell is completely gone now, instead of getting stronger when Carl opened the door. Nothing. Empty room. I see Carl visibly trying to keep his breathing under control as he holds the knife out to Raven before bending down in front of me again. Really? Oh, thank God. Carl trembles as he stands up with me in tow. As the husky moves on to the final door, I lean in next to Carl's cheek. You okay? Did you see anything? He turns his head toward me, touching his cheek to mine. Aside from the rope, no. It's hard to say whether or not I believe him, or if he's just trying to protect me from whatever else he saw in there. Either way, I don't press for it. The last door is locked. It's big and made of small logs. Its deep brown color contrasts with all the others. Raven jiggles the handle a few times, and Carl tries to look into the cracks between the logs, but it's completely black. So that's it. It's all the doors. I'm starting to feel a certain level of panic again now that we know that we're stuck. Carl, I think, picks up on that and comes over to where I'm leaning against the wall, just had a hand on my shoulder. It's all right, man. We haven't checked the attic either. I mean, there aren't any windows, so like you said, we're probably in a basement or something, right? A reassuring hand feels good, but it's not exactly enough to keep me from a certain level of despair. Honestly, I think I'm still dreaming right now. Carl doesn't say anything to that. Raven settles up next to us. Well, dream or not, I'm still pretty hungry. We both glance at Raven, and I can't help but give a little laugh at the grin on his face. I guess, at least for now, it's best to just not think about it. We get back to the kitchen, which doesn't take very long because every door on the left leads to it. We all split up to search the many cupboards and drawers of the kitchen for food. We come up mostly empty, only finding silverware and cooking utensils here and there. Because of my injury, I cover a lot less ground, only able to hobble around along the counter, using it as a crutch as I move down the line of cupboards. Even if we were able to find any food, there's no way I'd be able to cook it. The only thing I've ever been able to make on my own was a grilled cheese sandwich back when I was in high school. And even then, I almost burnt down the house when I dropped a piece of bread in the gas stove. In a panic, I threw the flaming bread across the kitchen into the living room. I smiled at the memories as I opened the last cupboard along the wall. As I opened the last cupboard along the wall, and right in front of me is a block of cheese on a glass plate. Next to it is a loaf of bread in plastic backing and a small square of butter wrapped in wax. That's a bit of a coincidence. I stare for a moment, waiting for the food in front of me to disappear. I even blink a few times to be sure. Guys? What's up? You seen... I need to move over. I'm getting sick of hunching my back. Okay. What? Cheese, bread, and butter. I stand to the side and Raven perks up. Oh, you found food. I swear I already checked that cupboard. Raven is next to me a few seconds later, reaching in to take out the food. For a moment, I swear the bread blurs as he pulls it out and I have to shut my eyes for a moment to keep from feeling sick. I feel Carl support me from behind with his hands on my shoulders. Whoa, dude, you alright, Chase? I grab onto the counter again. Yeah, it's just... Carl waits for a moment. What? I was thinking about grilled cheese before I opened the cupboard. Like, you just wanted a grilled cheese sandwich really badly and it popped up? Sort of. Carl walks up to the bread and bends over, observing it closely. Looks real. It is real. Raven walks up to the car where he had pulled the food from and closes it. Alright, I'm wishing for a steak. He closes his eyes for a moment, then reaches out to pull the car back open, smiling expectantly. It's empty. Well, grilled cheese isn't bad. Raven moves down the counter, grabs one of the pans hanging from the rack. Carl moves closer to my side as Raven turns the gas stove on with a click, click, click of the igniter. Dude, I think one of the important things to do right now is to stop questioning this place. We just can't make sense of it. Yeah, it's very Borgian. Luis Borges, whatever. But fucking hell. Luis, I don't remember his name actually, but like, he's this really great author who wrote a bunch of good stories. Jorge Luis Borges is his name, and like, yeah, getting major Escher / Borgian vibes from this, gonna be honest. I fold my arms. It has to be a dream. Carl puts an arm around me. Maybe, but dude, I'm just glad I'm not here alone. I nod in agreement. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to deal with that. Let's just take it one step at a time for now, man. I managed a small smile. You high right now? Carl laughs. Man, I wish. I hear the sizzling of the melting butter as Raven plops it in the pan. Carl and I go about setting slices of cheese in the bread as Raven starts searing them. The action of making food is enough to calm me down at least a little, and the other two keeping high spirits lifts mine. Before long, there are 6 grilled cheese sandwiches stacked in one plate. They look good, but after the first bite, I almost let the food fall back out of my mouth. What the fuck? I look over to see Carl and Raven pulling similar faces. And it kind of tastes like chalk. You know what? You know what chalk tastes like? Yeah, I ate some when I was a kid. He has a point. It's dry and crumbly, almost inedible. Well, it still sort of tastes like grilled cheese. Sort of. I don't think this is food. It's not that bad, besides that's all we've got. Raven forces another bite, and so does Carl. I can't bring myself to do it. My ankle, the smoke, the dead body smell, and the noose. It's all too much for me to deal with right now. I watch Carl and Raven talk back and forth, and I'm again struck by how surreal this all feels. I think back to the time I first got stoned, and the stupid pot muffin, how nothing felt real, how I felt like I wasn't in control. It's like that, only 10 times worse. I wonder if the others feel the same. Something ebbs to the surface of my mind, trying to break through the veil of fog shrouding my mind. What are we doing? Why are we sitting here eating? We should be trying to figure out a way to get the fuck out. Oh, my mouth. One of these bullshits, of course. I struggle to get my food down, instead she used to look hard at the tablecloth. You not hungry? Raven is looking intently at my half-finished sandwich. No, you can have it. I slide my glass plate across the table to Raven. Carl watches me but doesn't say anything, slowly chewing. I subconsciously note that he'd eaten around the crust, leaving those on the plate. We start discussing what else we might be able to do here, other possibilities and how we can get out. The attic is really the only place we haven't been yet, but because it's so dark, we're not so sure about going. Well, why don't we sleep on it and figure out what we'll do when we wake up? Raven yawns widely. That sounds good. It feels like it's been hours. It does feel that way, but without our phones, it's really impossible to tell. Leaving our plates where they are on the table, Raven leads us back out to the hallway. It takes us a few moments to find the right door. Considering everything looks identical, the Waits take special care to avoid the damaged door. As Raven moves into the bedroom, Carl leans against the wall, turning his head to talk back to me. Hey, we're gonna be alright, okay? I look back at the one green eye, concealing myself to squash the boiling pit of dread in my stomach. Okay, it's just I can't believe this is happening, you know? I gotcha. I just want you to know I'll be here for you, okay? I look back at his gaze for a while, to the point where I think he's getting uncomfortable. I sigh. You guys are just really acting really weird about all of this. Yeah. Well, I guess Raven is being Raven, but you're acting different. Really? How? I swallow. Just yesterday, you were throwing up over a job interview. Now you're the level-headed one while I'm freaking out. I laugh a little. I just don't understand what's going on is all. Carl sets me down against the wall, then turns to me with a hug. Hey man, I don't know either. I'm just trying to keep it together too. The hug surprises me, but I take it gratefully. I stare over his shoulder at the uniform hallway. Despite Carl's efforts, the worrying feeling returns. Raven pokes his head around the doorway. Hey guys, the little sofa thing is awesome. I'll sleep there. You two can have the bed. Oh, Sunday. Fuck. No. I know what that is. Shit. Okay, guys, that's it. That's it for this video. Sunday is gonna be the next video, and that's gonna be the last of it, because obviously it's, yeah. Well, guys, we got to it. We got to the part that I was talking about, and wow, this is the longest video in the series so far. I'm almost positive it's not going to stay that way, considering how long some of the other days are, but like, in different routes. But like, Jesus Christ, man. We're getting to the good shit now. Ooh, boy, you could hear me. You could hear my fucking voice going crazy with, like, anxiety there for a few times. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, 1 hour, 18 minutes. Fucking hell.